welcome to Creating ComicsGate Live. This is Rotten Glory. I am joined today by the writer of Oddity, David Sean. Welcome.
Hey, thank you.
Hi. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good. I guess to preface this video, should probably I had made a video on the topic of Indiegogo versus Kickstarter, and I did. You were on a live stream with Crowdfunding Comics with Billy Tucci, and the topic came up, and I probably got a little heated about it, and I made a video. That might be an understatement. I made a video about it. Probably took things a little too far, not gonna lie, and I'm gonna take my lumps. But it did create the opportunity for this live stream and to have an open discussion about this topic. So I don't. How do you want to work this? Do you want to? I know you've taken some notes on the video, and
yeah, you just ask me whatever you want to ask me. I'll answer whatever questions you got.
All right. I mean, I do have some things I'd like to show, but let's start things off with, when it comes to. I mean, do you think that there is a general sense in ComicsGate that using the Kickstarter platform might be a negative? Like it might cause people to question support of ComicsGate projects?
I think maybe for some people. I think for the most part, I think there are people that don't want to use it, and that's fine. I wouldn't use it to fund the project. I don't really trust them that far. I'll tell you that right off the bat. They got that person who's there, whose whole job it is to kind of gatekeep.
Yeah.
But so I wouldn't trust them to fund the project. I would never go to them first. It would be, as far as I'm concerned, that'd be stupid, especially if you're calling yourself ComicsGate.
Yes.
What we're thinking about doing is, after we've fulfilled, we want to keep our name out there and we want to reach more customers, because the more we want to take our overprints, put it on the Kickstarter, sell a few extra books, get a few extra customers, and then those customers, we now have a mailing list, right?
Right.
So now the next time we put the book out, we put it on Indiegogo, we've got those names on our mailing list. Maybe those people have never done an Indiegogo before. Now we're bringing them over to Indiegogo, and when they get to Indiegogo, because they say, hey, look, this Oddity book I got was really cool. Now they're on Indiegogo and they're getting our next book. And now they're saying, well, what else is over here on Indiegogo? And then they're looking up other books and looking at other things. Right. That does nothing but benefit ComicsGate. It does nothing but benefit Indiegogo. There are there's more than three, but there's generally three possibilities if we do this, right? The first possibility, they say no right off the bat. I'm not out anything, because we're not printing books specifically for Kickstarter. I'm not out anything. We're already funded.
Do you think it's a possibility that they might gatekeep you from the platform just because?
No,
you don't.
They don't, because you're looking at it wrong. They're not gatekeeping me from their platform. They're gatekeeping their customers from us. We should be trying to reach their customers and bring them to us.
Mm.
So me going to Indiegogo, giving them whatever, 10%. Okay, I could have got 100% of zero, or I can get 90%, or we can get 90% of whatever it is we get.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're reaching more customers. And those are customers who, they weren't in on the funding of the project. They were in on buying some extra books. But now they've got these books and they're like, wow, this is a cool book. And when we send them, for the next book, we send them their emails, or maybe we send a bunch of postcards out to everybody. Say, hey, our next book's getting ready to fund. They're going to be like, oh, it says Indiegogo. Well, I want the second book. So they're going to come to us. Hopefully, that's the plan. That only helps ComicsGate. It only helps us. And it only helps Indiegogo.
Right.
So that's strategic. All right. So the first thing that happens is they say no. we're not going to run your book. I'm not out
Okay.
anything. I've heard the word no before. So, it doesn't hurt me at all. The next possible thing that happens is they fund the book. I give them whatever, 10%, 7%, whatever the number is. And now I've got these customers and we've made more money. We're all about making more money because we're a business. We're all about reaching more customers because we're a business. That's the point. Now,
Right.
third possibility, we go all the way to the end and they pull some woke shenanigans and they say, oh, guess what? We're going to dump your book because we found out you're a ComicsGate, or we think you're white supremacist, or we found something troublesome in the book, some nebulous thing. And they dump our book.
Yeah.
We're already funded. So we now have a mailing list of disappointed customers, by Kickstarter. These are people I can email and I can say, hey, look, Kickstarter disappointed you. They don't want you to see our book. We've already printed. You want to buy the book. Why don't you come over to Indiegogo and we're going to run a new campaign on Indiegogo to sell these overprints to you because Kickstarter didn't want you to buy my book. Who does that help? And who does that hurt?
Right. Okay. I mean, you brought up the. I want to just show a piece of an article here.
Okay.
Because like you had mentioned, Kickstarter kind of has a front woman.
Oh, look at her.
Yeah, I mean she fits the profile pretty well.
I said, I absolutely, if you're funding a book and you got to deal with this person right here on the screen, I wouldn't want to go through that. If you're looking to get your first funding, I wouldn't go to Kickstarter. If you're got somebody who's literally their whole job is to make sure your book is woke, or at least to make sure that you're not undesirable or whatever. I absolutely agree with that. I think anybody that says I don't want to deal with Kickstarter is perfectly legit. Right. Anybody that doesn't want to deal with Kickstarter shouldn't deal with Kickstarter.
Sure. I mean, in this article alone, of course, they're not going to mention in this article that they actually boot people for politics. But what they will point out is that they have a mission. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to read a couple paragraphs here. Big publishers think diversity is a market trend. It isn't a checkbox and shouldn't be seen that way. I think marginalized creators come to Kickstarter to have complete autonomy over their projects. They want to see it made regardless. They come to Kickstarter to do that. I personally have made it my mission to uplift projects by more marginalized creators. I want to give people the chance to really be allies, to really step up and support marginalized characters. Here is your chance to put your money where your mouth is. And it, to be perfectly honest, I don't have a problem with this per se. If you want, the whole thing with Marvel and DC is that they're forcing round shapes into a square hole. They're taking beloved characters or characters that have already been established and they're trying to force something that doesn't fit. They're not telling good stories. If someone wants to go and create a comic book, an independent comic book with whatever kind of character they want, that's and they can find a market for that, they can sell it, fantastic. The problem with Kickstarter is that they have this mission and they specifically exclude people who are on the other side of the fence. It's not an equal opportunity thing. They booted your boy Zach, Richard C. Meyer. Yep. They booted John Malin.
Yeah, they booted Zach in.
This is Kickstarter. Yeah. This is why I think there are people in ComicsGate, the people who are spending the money, that feel that Kickstarter is part of that thing they're fighting against.
Well,
it's part of the opposition, and I think that's why there can be this kind of stigma attached to it. Why would you go to this platform when they seem to be the exact thing that ComicsGate started to fight?
Because if you can sneak one past the goalie, like us, for all I know, they're going to say no to us. But if you sneak us in, we're going to take some of those customers and we're going to bring them to Indiegogo. and we're going to bring
I
them to
get that.
ComicsGate. We're going to show them that ComicsGate isn't what Kickstarter says they are, because they're going to hopefully they'll follow us over to Indiegogo for the next project, and they'll get to see all these other ComicsGate projects, and they'll be like, "How come we haven't seen this over here?"
Right.
You know that.
I,
So
you know, I'm not.
the
I'm
goal
not
the
saying
goal
that
is to
isn't a
expand the customer
possibility.
base. The goal is to expand the customer base and to make we're a business. We want to make more money. We want more customers.
I
I mean,
get that.
that's ultimately the bottom line. And
I mean,
I totally get this thing where they kicked those guys or they didn't let them run their projects. I totally get it, and I also totally get that they freaking ran that fake cyber fraud thing that
oh
shady.
man,
That oh my god, yeah,
unbelievable.
I'm totally on board. But if you could
Yeah.
sneak one past the goalie and steal some of their customers away, I mean, ultimately, I lose a little bit of money, but you're on board here at Indiegogo. We got all kinds of people. All the ComicsGate people are on board with us on Indiegogo. They don't have to go to Kickstarter. We don't need them to go to Kickstarter to buy our book again. We would love for them to buy our book on Indiegogo because we keep more of that money. That's that's straight up.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can get those guys over at Kickstarter, why wouldn't we want to bring them to Indiegogo next?
I just think I think it's a dangerous game. That
It's not
playing it
dangerous
because
how?
because look, there may be for every one of me who like made this rash and overly enthusiastic video in response, there are probably 25, 30 people just sitting in silence that have like, wow, this guy's maybe they're not a Comicsgate project that I want to support in the future because I think that you're not going to be able to explain what you just explained to me to everyone that sees you doing that. That sees
If I
you
leave
go
them
to
the
the
video, I
Kickstarter
can.
platform. They're not going to understand
They can always ask.
that might be your goal.
They
And
can
that
always ask.
and at at your book is
I hope I really want you to get a lot of views on this video. I really hope people come to this video and
I
see
do too.
what I'm
It's a great.
saying.
This is an important thing, and it's a topic that is actually pretty pressing because, dude, I'm not. Yes, I am a fan and a backer and a supporter of Comicsgate projects, but back in the day, I had a comic book published through Image. This
Oh,
was
did you?
more than 15 years ago. It was a Viking mythology book called Runes of Ragnan. I'm a comic book guy. I want to get back into that. And Comicsgate is like the numbers I had with that book with Image was considered kind of a flop with them. But if I had those numbers with Comicsgate, I'd be at the top of the pile, right?
It's not a bad way to start. I've
This
got
is
nothing.
a it it
The problem is as much as who did you focus on your when you were selling your book through Image? Who did what audience did Image focus on?
I don't know how to define that. I mean, we had a full page in Diamond. They did some promotion.
The
We were
correct
online,
answer is their customer was comic book stores.
of course,
And ultimately you want it in all the comic book stores. You
right?
don't want it just in comic book stores that agree with you. You want it in all the comic book stores, and then the customer, when they see it on the shelf, they can make the decision themselves. I love Comicsgate. I'm a Comicsgater. I have been since the first Zach video I watched like 3 years ago. I've
Hmm.
been Comicsgate since whatever. I think one of the bigger reasons that those guys got denied. I think
Right,
Heather Antos probably was in somebody's ear saying, "Hey, see these guys here? This is bad news. You don't want them on your platform."
right.
I think it was probably Heather Antos that probably was pushing them. And I know they had. I mean, I'm sure they have other people that were aware of didn't like Ethan or didn't like Zach or whatever.
Sure.
I mean, but that's. I mean, you gotta reach whatever audience, and I gotta try, right?
Well, do you think? I mean, your book is at I think
Our book is
200.
ideal for Kickstarter because
Uh,
our star's a transphibian, right? We're totally
uh,
woke.
yeah, you can reach that crowd absolutely. Um, I mean, but at 279 backers, I
Mm-hmm.
think is where it's at, and I think it's a little under 15K. I mean, to me, you haven't scratched the surface of CG support yet. I mean, do you have any thoughts on why? Why do you think you haven't made? Why? I think you should. I personally, based on what the book, the art, and what the character is, and it's really appealing to me. I think you guys should be in Deathsworn territory. You should be in the 35 to
We should be in
40K
monster. We
range.
should be in Monster MD territory, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So why do you feel that hasn't happened? And you even had a I know EVS is
Yeah,
I
we've been
think
on.
I
Let's see,
he's late on delivering that cover to you, but I know dude, when
Swing's been
that
on
cover
here.
drops, it's going to be a huge
Oh yeah,
bump.
yeah. We absolutely, and we're. I keep kind of. I mean, I try to be polite about it. I don't want to. I'm not getting all Haiti or whatever. But I try to be politely remind him, hey, we're just hoping for your cover here soon. But we just got to wait for him to finish up his sketches or whatever it is he's doing. But yeah, I mean, or actually, Sweens has been on his show like 3 times. We've been on he's been on Wanger a couple times. Been on Graded Point 5 a couple times. We were on Crowdfunding Comics. That's where you saw us, and where you got let me see, pissed off and annoyed. And this is my notes here. And
No, drop it,
you
dude. Put the
you were
smack down.
you said infuriated 3 times.
I said it was infuriating. Yes,
Yes, you said you were infuriated at least once. Let's
I
see.
said it more than once. I'll
Yeah,
give you
no,
that.
you used the word infuriated like 3
I
times.
did. I did. I
Let's
think
see.
3 times.
Let's see. I won't say the names you called me. Let's see. You said we'd lose our audience. I don't think we have. I think most people understand that it's a business and we have to grow the market. Will there be a few people? Well, I would hope that they would either ask me about it. I'd hope they'd talk to me about it. My DMs are open. I love talking to the backers. If you're a backer and you have a concern, you can go to our campaign and you can put a comment there, or you can DM me. My DMs are wide open. I answer all my DMs. I got nothing better to do all day except when I'm at work.
No, I messed up. You know what I would do if I had it to do over again is we'd be doing this stream instead of me making that initial video. The initial video would have been a general Indiegogo versus Kickstarter, my thoughts on it, and it wouldn't have called anybody out specifically, and then we'd be doing this stream.
Can I ask a question? Why did you call Tucci out the same way you called me out?
I think I did.
Did you? Did you send him a tweet too?
I didn't send him a tweet about the video. No, he doesn't give a shit about me. He's a comics book legend, and maybe he can get away with it. Even with Tucci, is he going to be able to dip his feet into that ComicsGate water?
Yes. You know why?
Next project.
Have you watched
next time? I don't know.
Have you watched crowdfunding comics? Anybody who's CG is on his show. Whenever he can.
Yes,
it took us a little while to get on his show, and it was just scheduling. But
every time they have a CG creator on the show, they're nudging him to Kickstarter. Every time. I watched Clint Stoker was on, and they tried to do the same thing to him. And you know what he said? No.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it because he understands the dynamic that there's a percentage of his backers that it is going to alienate. And what did he do?
All right,
Clint found another way to get his books out there that wasn't Kickstarter.
Yeah. All right. How about this? Why would you feel alienated if I went to Kickstarter?
Because they're basically presenting as the enemy. This article proves it. Their behavior proves it.
You've already bought my book, right?
CG views Kickstarter as the enemy.
You've already bought my book, right? You've backed it?
Of course I did.
Okay,
and it looks fantastic.
Okay, and we're not even planning on even thinking about it. I mean, right now we're considering it.
That's why I wanted to stop you from doing it because I don't want you to lose CG support.
I don't think we'll lose.
That was my honest intention.
The overwhelming majority of people that I've talked to, I mean, there are some people that said they wouldn't do it. I haven't heard from anybody that said, "Oh, don't do it," or "We're going to refund you. We're not going to back you again." I haven't heard one person say that to me.
But who would...
and I get the sentiment against Kickstarter. I totally do.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I think you'd be surprised.
most
I
people
think you'd be
understand.
surprised.
Most people understand. Most people understand. It's a business, and we're trying to reach more
Sure.
customers.
But
And again,
you've got, dude, at 279 backers,
mm-hmm.
you've got at least 800 backers in CG just waiting for you. Get them
Okay.
first. Get
Well, wait,
them
wait,
first.
hold on. Get them first.
Yes.
Why?
You can get them. And
Yes, I know we can get them. But I mean, there's no like contest. There's no contest between CG and non-CG customers. I should go for all the customers I can right now. And and once we're done and we're delivering the book, then I should be reaching out and keeping our name out there in as many other markets as I can. The point isn't, I love CG. I am CG. The point isn't to sell only to CG. It's to sell to as many people as possible. We're still going on the shows. We're still doing. I don't know if I have anything scheduled. I have my own show. It's a little show, and hardly anybody watches it. But I
have to say I didn't know. When I was doing the video, I looked. I went to your campaign, and the campaign is headed by the artist.
Yes,
Sean Sweeney.
Yes,
So I went to his YouTube, and it was like, there's nothing happening. No, I didn't realize that you. I didn't even know that you had a channel. I've subscribed since then, since we've been in contact.
And now
I didn't know your channel was out there, man.
But I have CG guys on. I've had Monster MD. I've had let's see, Edwin Boyett's been on too. But I've had I've had a bunch of people on my show. I have a lot of CG guys on my show all the time. Well, not all the time. Like I said, I have a tough work schedule. I work nights, but whenever I can do a show, and as a matter of fact, when we're done here, I'm going to have Michael Derrick on for what is it, Red Scale? Is that right? Or Grayscale? Yeah, Grayscale.
Yeah. I'm having him. I just backed that the other day. It wasn't the art didn't grab me, but I got to tell you, his lettered pages. When I read it, I was like, "This is funny shit. This is good." Yeah.
Yeah.
I think more campaigns should offer up those 5 lettered pages.
Yeah.
Because it can push you over the edge as a backer.
Yeah, we did. We have 12 pages right now. The first 12 pages are on our campaign, all lettered and colored and ready to go. And we just did a new video. We basically did a reading. I did a reading of the first 8 pages, and we did we edited it all nice with some music and sound effects and stuff.
Nice. I just nobody's gonna argue with the logic that you want to reach as many customers as possible. The problem is don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, man. I mean,
well, there
is a massive amount. I think you're missing out on at least 20K of CG support right now. And if you do, there are things that you could do that will ensure that you're not going to get that 20K from CG. Is it really? Why not go after the CG dollars first? And when EVS drops that new cover, you go, and he will have you on when he does the cover because he's going to want to show off his work. Yeah, and he also feels bad about being late about it. I saw him on Arch City Comics, and he was like, "Oh man, I know I'm behind on this, but he's doing the sketches,
Yeah,
that's gonna be a huge boost to you guys.
Absolutely,
you guys are gonna get a huge boost there.
But in the meantime, I got to do, and like I said, we're not even thinking about Kickstarter until after we fulfill. And Kickstarter will be a way to keep our name going because we want to roll right into the second book. I think pretty much everybody understands just because we do our extra books on Kickstarter doesn't mean we're abandoning ComicsGate. That's not.
I don't think everybody understands that.
Well, I'm sorry, not everybody.
I think that
you can't.
I just don't want you to lose the support of a thing that's grown. Dude, this thing is growing rapidly, and then you got Stallone, The Expendables, a high-profile guy willing to align himself with.
That's a big get for Zach. That is a huge.
It's a big get.
Are they getting?
Growing, man.
Are they putting Splatter on the? Are they putting the Splatter logo on the cover?
What's that?
Do you know if they're putting the Splato logo on the cover?
Dude, as far as I know, it's a full-on Splato comic.
That's
I
awesome,
don't,
man. That's
I
a
can't.
huge win for Zach. Huge
It's
win.
huge. It's
But like I
huge, and I
said,
know Zach isn't like, he doesn't throw around the ComicsGate thing. But nobody's going to deny that
no, I
anything he
don't deny. I
does
don't
is
deny. He's
considered
definitely one of the
ComicsGate.
guys that started it.
Yeah, yeah.
Look,
All I'm
I
saying is
totally,
this thing is growing at a rapid pace.
I totally get, and like I said, we're not alienating anybody. We're not saying, oh, you know what, FUCG, we're going over to here now. That's not how that works. I think most
I know
people.
that's not what you're. I know that that's not your train of thought.
Why is it your
But
train of thought?
it's not just, dude. I'm just saying that there's a kind of perception. If Kickstarter is seen as the enemy, they're the people that are pushing the same stuff that people left Marvel and DC for, and
Mm-hmm.
they're booting ComicsGate. They've already booted high profile ComicsGaters off the. They're viewed as the enemy. So when you go to the enemy, no matter what your intention is, it's there will be a percentage of people that view that as a betrayal of the thing, and I just don't want that to happen. You guys are doing such good work, and I
I think
know that
you're. I think you're.
you have a mountain of money waiting for you in CG.
I think you're underestimating how smart the audience is. I think for the most part, people understand. If I lose a small, I can't. You can't please everybody. I would love. I would love for everybody to be happy,
Right.
but people have to understand we're not leaving CG. I mean,
Right.
just because we're going over there, we're trying to bring an audience back.
Okay.
And like I said, worst case scenario, they say no from the beginning when we're not out anything. I have to. I
Yeah.
can't run this
But
on. I can't run my campaign on the basis of a hashtag. I have to run it like a business because that's what it is. And in a
I
business,
get that.
the idea is to make a bigger audience and to make more money. That's what we're
Sure,
here for.
sure.
And most people, and
Well,
I mean, I can't. If people don't understand that, I'm sorry. I mean, I can only do so much. And maybe we won't do it. Maybe we'll find. Maybe we will find some. Some majority of people. I ran a little poll. It's all people that probably are on my side anyway. So probably not scientific. Most people, 85% of them said, I don't care or no, we're not going to be.
right.
I don't think it's. I don't think there's so many people that I have to really, I could say any number of things that'll piss off 10% of the people, and I try
Yeah.
not to. I try to. I consider myself the nicest guy in ComicsGate. I'm always nice to customers. I don't cuss at people. I don't insult people. I always try to be positive. We try to run a positive campaign. We always try to be, enthusiastic about the project. I think we've got a great product. I think we got a great character. The book is awesome. Hopefully people like my writing when they see the lettered pages, what we got. So I mean,
I would love to.
all I can do is push the book. All I can do is say, "Hey, look, we got a great book here. We want you to read it.
Yeah.
We want you to back us." And when I say, "Hey, we're going to go to Kickstarter and we're going to try to bring some of those customers over," I wish I could reach everybody, and I wish everybody would understand. Oh, and maybe what I'd like is for everybody to come watch this show. Everybody who's in should like and subscribe this show.
I would like that too.
Yeah,
And
like and
I'm
subscribe.
curious,
I
I'm
want to direct
curious
everybody
why.
to the show to hear my point of view.
Apparently we've got, Edwin Boyette
Mm-hmm.
up in the comment section. Um, that in itself that's very curious to me because as far as I knew, he was about as anti-CG as you could get.
I think he's pro comic books. He's not a big fan. I can say he's not a fan of a lot of the CG top brass guys. Well, it's not really top brass. I think there's a misunderstanding about the relationship between regular CG creators and whoever's. I don't want to say at the top, but I mean essentially that's how everybody kind of looks at it.
No matter what it is, there's going to be top dogs, and
Yeah, there's going to be guys that are more popular, and that's fine. I don't.
How it works.
Yeah, I don't whine. I don't whine and complain about other people's projects because that's their projects. I'm not trying to be jealous. I don't do that. We just try to push our project, and we try. Like I said, we try to be positive. We try to be enthusiastic. We want people to see it, and we want people to back it.
Yeah, I get that. I just to me this thing is growing so fast, and I think that the CG audience is growing at such an alarming rate, and things are moving. There is such a level of momentum happening. Is like, why would you want to risk not being a part of this going forward? Because it's not. I mean, for
But
me, it's
what? All
not
right.
about. Look at. I'm
Well,
going to bring up
hold on,
Clint
hold on.
Stoker.
You're
I want
saying
to
why would
bring
I
up
risk
Clint.
not being a
Okay.
part of it? What would make me not a part of it? You can't get kicked out of CG. You have to declare yourself
You
not CG.
can't get kicked out of CG except by fan perception, except by the people who are giving you money.
Okay.
You can absolutely get kicked out of CG by people thinking, "Wait, this guy, this project, this thing doesn't really seem to want to align itself with CG, except when it wants to dip its toe in the CG thing, and then it wants to go over here and dip its toe in everything else." And it's like,
I would think that the overwhelming majority of ComicsGate guys, people who are consumers, people who are creators, I think the overwhelming majority are smart enough to realize that just because we want to go in this other spot and find more customers, because
I,
CG is pro business. It's all
yes,
about
it is. Yes, it
capitalism.
is.
It's
But there
capitalism.
are
It's pro
lines in the
business.
sand. There
But
are lines in the sand.
but the percentage is kind of low for that.
How do you, okay, what are you basing that on?
I haven't heard
I don't
anybody, hardly the only person who's really arguing that people are going to leave me is you. And I've heard maybe a couple of other people. Most of the people that have answered, I'm not even talking about the poll. The people I've talked to about it, the people
yeah.
that I've seen respond to me,
Mhm.
most of them say, you know what? I would never use CG. I would never buy, or I'm sorry, Kickstarter. I would never use
Yeah.
Kickstarter. I would never buy a Kickstarter book. But almost all of them have also said, but I don't see any. But it's fine if you go, if you do that. We're not gonna,
Okay.
nobody's gonna say, hey, we're dumping you because of it.
Maybe that's the
Almost everybody
case.
I've talked to said, yeah, they did this or that. Adam posted a video the other day. He said, why CG is IGG only. I watched
Yeah.
his video. He made some good
Okay.
points, but I
I haven't
disagree. I
I didn't
disagree with
catch
him
it.
on this point. And
I
we
didn't
can all
catch it.
still get along, and we can have disagreements. Like I said, if
Yeah.
anybody that doesn't want to use CG, I mean, gee, I keep. Sorry, I'm trying not. I'm trying
Oh,
not. To, I'm
these are
trying to.
Freudian
I'm trying,
slips here. You think I'm not gonna? I
Freudian
gotta
slip.
stomp on those.
This is going to be so re-edited. No, anybody that doesn't want to use Kickstarter, because I've been throwing KS around and IGG and CG. Anybody that doesn't want to use Kickstarter, I'm not going to encourage them to use it. If they want to use it, they can use it. If they don't want to use it, they don't have to use it. I don't see why somebody who doesn't have a financial stake in our campaign would want us to make less money, or wouldn't allow us to approach a different market.
I don't want you to do anything that is going to harm the support of a thing that is growing exponentially before your very eyes. I don't want you to do anything that's going to alienate you from that market.
Not
And
really
look,
your say. That's the thing.
I know.
I appreciate the concern, but I really don't think it's going to be that big of a. I don't think we're going to get much of a backlash at all. And I'm so,
Okay.
and it may, and even if it's 10%, I mean, I can't please everybody. We try, but
Right.
we're not insulting anybody. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm not calling anybody names. I'm not yelling at anybody, and I'm not saying, hey, blah 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 blah. I'm getting all angry about it. We're just
Right.
looking at other options because we want to make more money and we
Yeah.
want to sell more books. We want to reach a bigger audience.
So I mean, I just want to throw. I want to throw this out there because I think it's relevant. Hold on, let me get rid of this fucking message. Um,
Cash
I
grab
don't
make a bunch
think
of money.
cash grab. If there's anything that is like that screams, this is ComicsGate and nothing like this is
It's
it.
CG right there. Cash grab, CG.
Exactly. Okay. 1,107 backers so far, $91,000. Would if you got $91,000, would you be like, this is success for my project. If we did this on each project we launched, we'd be good to go.
If I got that kind of money, why would I look at Kickstarter? I
Okay,
wouldn't.
this is 100% ComicsGate support right here, because nothing is more ComicsGate than this project and Cecil himself. Do
Okay.
you think Cecil is going to go to the? And I think
Hold on.
I just want to.
Look
There's
at
a
me.
catch.
Look at me.
Yes.
Am I wearing a mask and have a big old mustache? I'm not
I
Cecil.
know we can't all be as
We
entertaining.
can't all be Cecil. We can't all be
I get
Ethan.
that.
We can't all be John Malin. I gotta be who I am. And I gotta run my campaign how I'm comfortable with it. I don't have a problem. I would love to be on Ethan's channel all the time. I would love to do that. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna pull a Polton and beg to be on his channel 20 times. I asked a couple of times. If he lets me on, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
Right.
I don't have any. I'm not entitled to that space.
I
If
appreciate.
he wants to have us on.
I understand.
I hope when he does the cover that he has us on. Hold on, just a second. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No problem. I just think, damn, look at Cecil. Look at that sexy boy. Rocking it.
Sorry, my stove is going on. All right. Yeah. So we can't all. We all got to be who we are and run our campaign as best we can. I'm not entitled to that space. And as much as I want to be there, as much as I want to push my book he has to let me there. And I'm not. Before anybody thinks, I think whatever. I mean, it's his show. He can do what he wants.
Yeah.
And when he does our cover, hopefully he'll have us on. If he doesn't have us
he's
on,
gonna have you on.
Cover.
He's gonna look.
Yeah,
we all know.
We
all know EVS is extremely. He's a humble man, but when he has something to show off,
yeah, I can't wait.
Cover's he's gonna show it off. He's gonna have you on.
I think it'll boost us like crazy.
You're gonna have a huge. I mean, there's over 50 backers of the EVS cover sight unseen.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen when
actually,
it's seen?
There's more than that. There's actually 131 people, because you've got people that bought all 3 covers. You've got the people that bought 2 covers.
I was just looking.
So there's 131 people right now that are waiting. And I've had people, and the problem is I've had people talk to me and say, "Hey, I'm just waiting for the cover to drop before I back."
I know.
So maybe that's what it is.
He's feeling the pressure of that big time. Like I said, he was on a stream the other day, and he's like, "Oh, I know it's looming. I feel it."
Yeah,
weight on that guy's shoulders. I'm just saying, this is I know we can't all be Cecil. Obviously, we can't all be as entertaining. We can't have this. And Cecil's earned it, man. He's been doing it for years. He brings entertainment to the table like nobody else. But this is pure ComicsGate support. You're not getting support from any other source. These are ComicsGate people. And I'm saying this is the pie that you have to draw from. And at under 15K, you've got to analyze, why are we not getting a bigger piece of this pie? I'm not saying you can do 90, but I'm saying you could do 30. You could do 40 for sure.
Okay, but what if
you got to look at why am I not getting a bigger piece of this ComicsGate love? What's going on? Is it because people are questioning?
I don't think anybody's questioning anything
about it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody questions that we're ComicsGate or not. I mean, I've had a few, misunderstandings. I've had a few. They haven't made any memes about me yet. Which is
they haven't put any dildos on you yet.
I did this thing where CG my way a couple weeks ago, and all it was we can agree to disagree. It's shorthand for we can agree to disagree. You can do stuff your way, I can do stuff my way. We're both CG, and I took so much crap for that, and it was crazy. It was like, whoa! All I'm saying is agree to disagree and continue on with ComicsGate. That's all it was, and but we sold some books from it. I'd rather not sell books from spite or all right. I'm not talking down cash grabbing. All right. I would not. I don't want to do negative stuff. I want to stay completely positive. That's how I like to run the campaign. And like you said, I told you, I've had a few people that have said they're just waiting for that Ethan cover to drop. Yeah. We've been on
It's
great.
gonna happen, man.
Yeah,
I'm actually excited. I'm excited to see what happens.
We're totally excited. We've been on Graded 0.5 twice. We've been on Mandy's show a couple of times. Mandy's got some sales. We've been on Akari Press. Sweeney's been on Wanger a couple of times. We've been on some outside shows a couple of times, and we can only get the interest we get. And like I said, maybe a bunch of people are waiting for that cover to drop.
Let me get this. I want to get your link in the chat here. Yeah, dude, your book deserves.
Yeah, and I'm not asking
a lot more money than it's gotten. I don't know. I honestly don't know why it hasn't.
I'm not asking any
more CG support, and that's what I'm like asking the question, like why.
See, I'm not.
Where is that CG love for this thing?
I'm not asking Kickstarter to. I'm sorry. I'm not asking anybody to give money to Kickstarter. I would rather everybody come to Indiegogo and get our book there, because really it's going to be just a little bit of extra pain in the ass to run the second campaign afterwards. But again, and it could be that, the cover drops, we get up 30, 40, 50, maybe we get that big money. In which case, you know what? Maybe we don't have to print so many books. The reason we print so many books is once you get to the printer, the more you print, the price goes down.
Oh, you got to print
so
at least, at least 2,000, right?
Yeah, we got to print. Well, we got 3 covers, so we got to print.
Ooh.
Ultimately, I want 1,000 of each cover. We'll put some on Kickstarter. Maybe. Well, what we're definitely going to do is when we run the second book, we'll have some to put for the second book. And when we want to go to Cincinnati Comic Con, I think that's the one we're planning on going to. We want to have some books to sell there. So that's what you want your overprints for. And if I can sell a few extra and grab a bigger mailing list to bring people into the next project, that's ultimately good for everybody. Because there are people that there are probably people I know there are people on Indiegogo that would never go to Kickstarter. That's fine. I know there are people on Kickstarter that would never go to Indiegogo, but there are a lot of people. Yeah, but there are a lot of people who buy comic books on Kickstarter just want to buy comic books. Yeah. So there are a lot of people that maybe don't really know anything about Indiegogo. Maybe they've heard about it and they're like, "Oh, that's the little upstart place. We're already with this big platform and it's good for us." But then they'll see the project and then they hear from me and they're like, hey, or, anybody else. If you decide, I'm not convincing anybody, but if you decide to go there and they let you on, take that mailing list and bring it to Indiegogo with your other project and add them to your mailing list. And now that's a group of people that maybe never thought to go to Indiegogo because they thought it was a little upstart, not so much for politics. But they're like, oh, I'm happy with Kickstarter. There's no reason to go anywhere else. But then they said, oh, where are all these cool projects? How come we didn't see these on Kickstarter?
Yeah. I'm not arguing with that logic at all. I think it's sound. I think it's fine. On the surface, how could you argue with it? It's just I think it's a mistake to deny that it's a little more complex than that. That there's a lot more psychology going on.
I think it's a mistake.
When it comes to CG and Kickstarter.
I think it's a mistake to think that our backers aren't smart enough to realize it. I think we have a great group of backers.
You keep saying that people aren't smart enough.
I don't think it's not smart enough. It's
not about being smart. It's about.
Is it about emotion?
I want ComicsGate. I feel like there's this opportunity that people aren't fully recognizing to build a fan movement of such power, of such buying power.
All right.
And if all the creators just band together and have a solidarity and draw some lines in the sand and keep pulling, this thing is going to get so big that you're not going to have to worry about going to other platforms. That's what I want to see.
What you're building is a bubble.
A very successful bubble.
Okay.
Yes.
But wouldn't you make that bubble bigger?
What if you didn't have to go outside the bubble?
Why
to
wouldn't
have
I
a
want to
huge
go outside the
success,
bubble?
right?
Why wouldn't I want to go outside the bubble? As a
Because
creator,
the bubble is fucking feeding you on an alarming. If you can get it to that place, look, if you want to be that greedy, like,
whoa,
okay,
what was
John
that?
Malin, is John Malin going to go to Kickstarter after having
No, because I
he
already
did
took them off.
170,000, then another 70K. Do you think he's going to feel a need to go onto Kickstarter
I am not
and
John
risk
Malin.
that? No,
John
you
Malin
can get
doesn't
there,
tell me how
man.
to run my
You can
campaign.
build that. You can build that.
Yes, but I can build that also by bringing customers over.
But you will lose CG support.
I
I'm
don't think I
telling you,
will.
it
I
will
don't think I
happen.
will. I don't think I'll lose enough. I don't think I'll lose enough
Okay,
support where it's going to make a difference.
I'm not, and this isn't. I didn't create this environment. I'm just pointing it out.
Why
It
is this? I
exists
don't understand why this environment exists at all. I can
because
now. I understand.
Kickstarter
I
is
understand. I
Kickstarter
understand
has.
ComicsGate. I understand ComicsGate, and I understand what Kickstarter did.
Okay.
But ultimately, as a business owner, or I'm not actually an owner, I'm a contractor, right? So, as somebody who's running a business, it should be my job to attract more customers. The more customers I attract, the more customers come to CG. That's a good thing. I'm
How
helping
will they
build.
come
I'm
to
helping.
CG?
How do they come to CG? We're a CG
If
book.
you're offering the same book on Kickstarter, why
Okay.
would they feel a need? You'll offer it on Kickstarter again.
Because
They're
no,
not gonna feel compelled to do
maybe,
that.
but maybe they're going to want the goodies that see. Because I'm not going to do. I'm not going to send them all the same goodies that I'm doing on IGG. They're going to get one little
Okay, is
separate
that
thing.
gonna? How do you make that clear within the campaign?
When they
It's not
come, when they
gonna
come to the second one, they can come look at it.
on Indiegogo that they don't want to look at.
Some of them won't. Some of them will. I can't bring everybody. It's not 100%. You're never going to get 100% of anything.
Of course, well,
Even if I
get
grab
100% of CG.
even if 10% of those Kickstarter guys come over to us, that's 10% of people that we didn't have before. And now that's 10% of people that didn't know about Indiegogo. That's 10% of people that said, hey, look at these cool ComicsGate books that I didn't know about before because Kickstarter was blocking those books from me. Kickstarter is blocking customers from us. They're not blocking us from the platform.
Well, sometimes they are. Sometimes they are.
Well, that's what
But
they're. Well, that's what they're doing. They're
even Mike
you know,
Miller,
business.
who is
I mean,
even
run the
Mike Miller
numbers.
got booted.
Maybe they're not. Well, yeah, no, they got booted. I'm not saying they didn't. I'm not saying that stuff didn't happen. Obviously, it did. But what they did was they said, "Hey, you customers over here, you're not allowed to look at this book. We don't want you to look at this book because we feel we're smarter than you. We think that this book is harmful to you. That's why we're not having it on our platform." That's what they did. That's if we sneak one past the goalie, me or any of these other little books that just sell their overstocks or their overprints. You sneak one past there, and then that's more customers. That's people that said, "Hey, we didn't know about these books before," because now they're on my mailing list, and now I'm going to send them and say, "Hey, you want Oddity too? Come to Indiegogo, and when you do, you're gonna get all of these things too. We're gonna have all these stretch goals and this stretch goal, and I'm gonna tell them all about it."
Yeah.
That's what marketing is. The idea isn't we're not selling our comic book just to ComicsGate. We want to sell our comic book to people who read comics. That's the market. The market is everybody. Now, there are people that aren't going to like it. Okay, I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
you have to understand that the market isn't ComicsGate. There are people there are people who are ComicsGate only. It's your money. You absolutely should spend it that way if that's what you want. If that's your criteria, I fully support it. As a creator, I have to go outside of that because there aren't enough people who are CG only that won't support anything else that will bring our numbers up.
I don't know about that. I think you're wrong about that. Because do you think it's coincidental that the most successful people on the CG platform are the people that are 100% Indiegogo, 100% ComicsGate? They're not going to, without any hesitation. They are never going to waver on these points. Do you think it's coincidental that they also happen to be the most successful? Do you see the correlation? When people feel like there's a
put Neil
wavering on it, that's when support wanes. That's when support is sketchy. So I'm just saying, like, you know, to me the most impressive success story is Downcast, is Clint Stoker.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Clint does an awesome campaign. He runs a good channel. I like Clint a lot.
He put out his first book. It did, I think, 31, and I think his Downcast 2 is on target to get to hit 50K. And the guy just
guy's a workhorse.
Consistency, and he knows the dangers of moving off of Indiegogo. Because Clint is he's a statistical nerd.
I like Clint.
This guy wanted to go on Kickstarter. Trust me. He's like, he wanted to do it, but he measured it. He measured it against what it might, and he was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna. And then he had this opportunity to go to get into comic book stores, and he's like, look, this is a completely different offering. It's not conflicting with my ComicsGate, what I'm offering here, which is a premium product, versus these floppies on newsprint. He decided that Kickstarter was not worth the risk.
Okay.
And all I'm asking you to do is like, why did he come to that conclusion?
His numbers are different than ours.
And why is he succeeding?
His numbers are different than ours. Not everybody's
exactly.
The same. Not everybody's the same.
No,
I can't run my campaign the same way Monster MD runs his campaign, or I can try.
Right.
And like I said, I get no problem with any of these guys. I get no problem with Clint. And it's his decision to stay off at Kickstarter. He waited for his numbers, and he said, "Okay, well, it's not good for me." Okay. I have to look at my own numbers. I have to look what we're doing, and I have to at least consider an outside market.
Yeah. No, I think you should consider heavily. Absolutely. I think you should weigh the pros and cons. That's all I'm trying to get you to do.
All right, and I've done that.
You know,
like I said, we haven't even made a decision yet.
I know you haven't. That's why it's so important to engage you on it, because it's like, dude, let's wait for the EVS cover to drop.
Yeah, and you know what? If the EVS cover drops and we go through the roof, then I won't have to, maybe.
But see,
if it drops,
this is what I think frustrates people. Is like, you're like, well, if we do this well, then we'll just be completely concrete here. We want you to be concrete here, no matter what happens.
Not how you make
then look about, and then your second and then
that's not how you make a decision.
We want you to be
weigh
concrete.
Everything. When you make
otherwise, we don't trust it.
No, when you make a decision, you have to weigh everything. Look, the people who have a financial stake in this book right now are Sweens. I'm already paid. He already paid me. I'm a contractor.
Yes.
Sweens will make the ultimate decision. I don't make any decisions on the project unless he says so. Okay. I make suggestions.
Why am I talking to you? I'm just kidding.
You called me out. But ultimately, it'll be up to him. But how many kids you got?
Man, I didn't know we'd be bringing kids into this equation.
All right, well, don't answer the question. I got 3 kids and a wife to feed. He's got 2 kids and a wife to feed. So dude, we have to look at outside. We have to look at getting as many customers as we can.
I get that.
And building the biggest customer base and making as much money as we can.
I understand.
I have another job, and writing doesn't take nearly this amount of time as it takes for him to draw everything.
Oh God, dude.
Yeah. So
tell me about it. Dude, as a writer, I'm a writer too. And dude, the guilt I felt about
he's
the
doing
hours my artist would spend. I would like write this complex page, and then I would hear how long he spent, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm an asshole. I'm an
ultimately,
asshole.
ultimately, my loyalties lie with Sweens. I want to make him as much money as possible. I
Yeah.
mean, it's great. We're ComicsGate. We've been since the beginning. We've called ourselves a ComicsGate book. You can't be a ComicsGate book and be on Mail and Show. We've been on Mail and Show twice.
Yeah.
We've been on with Mail and with Mandy. You know,
Dude. Yeah. I
so
know.
so
Like I said, I don't know why you don't have more support. The book looks great. Um, shit. Let's bring that. Well, do you want to bring that up?
yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm here.
Bring up your campaign page
All right, you want me to do
we'll
that? All
share
right,
it.
hold on. Let me see.
It's
Let
like
me
having
see.
control of the remote. You want to be
Yeah.
able to scroll that yourself.
All right, let me find my tab.
Dude, I want you to have all the success in the world. I
All
just
right.
don't want, I don't want you to damage anything.
I don't think. Well, that's the
And
thing.
I think you should wait it out, see what happens with the EVS cover.
That is what
I
that's
do
what it's
actually
called.
feel you'll
This
get
is.
on the show,
Oh,
and
I'm
I
sure we
think you'll
will.
have a huge bump.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. And
Yeah.
like you were saying before, well, you're saying you got to be concrete. No, you got to make the decisions as the facts come in. That's how you make a decision. Let's see my sharing screen. Yeah.
Boom. Okay, hold on a second. I'm a rookie. There you go.
All righty. So yeah, we got.
Now,
I don't know if it's going to play because I don't know.
oh, hold
Whenever
on.
I try to
Hold
play it,
on. Now,
it doesn't work.
shoot, I didn't did you click the share audio?
I don't know if it'll do that for.
There's
Oh,
like a little
let me stop it
checkbox.
real quick, and then we'll try
Yeah.
again, and that way I can make sure that it's good to go.
It's like in the bottom left,
Yeah.
and you got to share audio.
Your screen.
I'm learning all this too.
Yeah, Chrome tab. Oh, there it is. Share audio. Oh, good.
Boom.
Good. All right. So let's do that. All right. Now it's sharing audio. I'll go ahead and I'll run it. Let's see if this works. Whenever I do it on mine, it always does the circle of death. Today. By day, the swamp is like any other. Mud, mosquitoes, snakes, and frogs. But at night, the swamp is foggy and black as pitch. During springtime, the sound of the peepers is usually enough to almost deafen the dead. But on that night, there weren't silence. That's how I knew there were humans about. Then something moved in front of my spotlight. I think it was stalking me the whole time. I saw it with my own two eyes. Luckily, I was prepared to defend myself. Suddenly, it jumped at me from the dark. I shot at it, but it disappeared, like a ghost. I could still feel its presence, all psychic like. I stayed alert. No swamp demon was going to get the best of me that night. Then from out of nowhere, it attacked. It was all teeth and claws, roaring like some kind of angry grizzly bear. Then it was on me. I could feel it clawing at my face. I fought it as hard as I could. We wrestled for 10 minutes, but I finally managed to throw it out the boat. I was getting my bearings after the fight when I opened my eyes. I saw a truck of reinforcements. I was completely surrounded.
Nice. I don't think I don't think I ever watched the video, man. I got to say as a back well, I made a video about this too, about campaign pages, and I'm not I I'm not a bit, I'm not a huge I don't care about the vids. I want to see the art. I want to see the, you know. Oh shoot, I think you're muted, man.
Yeah, I'm actually. I mean, we did the video just because we thought it was cool.
I think
But
you have to have a video. It's kind of a prerequisite, but I'm not. I've never bought a comic book based on. It's like a video has never sold me on a comic book. It's the art. You know, I want to see the pages, and I
yeah.
don't know. I don't. Maybe that's not. Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you right now. When I look at them, I always prefer just because they'll have like the art that you can scroll through. I always prefer that. That's what I want to look.
Yeah, dude,
But I mean,
drop
that's
us the
we
art.
did that with the video. Was you know, we got all. It's basically the art from
It's
the.
good. It's a solid video. It's one of the better offerings I've seen. Yeah.
We did. Let's see. Here's the. You can go to the page, and you've seen all of this. But basically, this the video is the first 8 pages. We did a little fun thing here with the gun, where we put this one in front and then switched it, so you know he appears for a second at the gunshot. I think the one that did the video is actually in the chat right now. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, we worked on that pretty hard. And then let's see. From that, we're going to get to. I mean, this is the last page, and then we get to page 12, where we start meeting some of the other characters. These are going to be basically our 2 bad guys. That guy's like a kind of. He's kind of like Art Bell, where he has like a paranormal type show.
Nice.
Yeah, and he. So, and the whole point was the first 8 pages was basically him interviewing the guy at the beginning. That's why you get the kind of unreliable narrator, or what he's saying. Yeah. What he's saying, isn't really what's happening. That's like his version of the story.
Right.
Yeah. So we got, you know, he's talking to the sheriff, and the sheriff's talking about, you know, what's going on, you know, with the. Basically, this little part lays out the basics for the story, the background. The next book is going to be the origin, but this kind of lays out the basic idea of what's going on. And then there's a little bit later on. We got, like I said, these 2 guys again. And basically, he talks to the sheriff. They talk about, and then anybody can come on and read it. And then this guy, the Art Bell guy, his name's Jack Fagans, basically offers a reward for any evidence of the Oddity. And he's the one that names it the Oddity. And so then it's the next thing is those 2 guys going out to get it, and that's where the action of the story really starts coming. We meet Oddity right after this scene, and start getting some of his background.
So is Oddity actually frog sized?
Is he what now?
Is he frog sized? Is he?
No. He's human. He's human sized.
He's human sized. Okay,
yeah.
Because I've seen.
Yes, we have that one.
I've seen artwork where he's like, well, he's nestled in the boobs of somebody, and I'm like,
here's the 2.
How big is this guy?
No, he's human sized, but for the little thing, we thought it would be cute if you know, because we're there we go. There's the Team Monster guys.
Nice.
Everybody's getting that pin up. This pin up here, we'll be getting this pin up. This guy was a artist for Adventure Time.
Yeah, that's a really interesting take on it.
Yeah, he's one of the Adventure Time artists, and I guess he went to art school with Sweens, so he did that little pin up for us.
This is the one I'm talking about. I'm like, wait, how big is this guy?
Yeah, we at some point we're gonna put a scene where he turns into the little frog guy just for the fun of it, just for this. But we did. I mean, he's actually human size. We asked Sashi to do this pic for us, and I mean, she did a great job with it. I love this pic.
Oh, I love this image, man.
Yeah, and like I said, we put the little frog in the frog. It kind of accentuates the boobs a little bit. You know, and it's fun. It's goofy. We want to show the book is fun. It's a goofy comedy. It's a horror comedy. You know, we want everybody to know. And then once we get that 15K, we're getting close. We're gonna get these pins. We're gonna have these pins. The glow in the dark. Yeah. The next stretch goal, I want to do patches. I want to do like army style patches.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm gonna leave it right now.
It's a phenomenal project. It's a really good. It's just good stuff, man. This is pure, awesome comic creation. You know, it was one of the earliest. I mean, I don't know when you guys kicked off.
The book started
pretty early on.
Well, we let's see. Last year No, it was 2020 now. So 2018, I think, or the beginning of 2019, I met Sweens. I had him on my show because because I was seeing some of his art on Twitter. I was seeing the Oddity character. I'm like, he like just popped up, and I'm like, where did this guy come from? So I had him on my show, and I was like, hey man, we got to talking. Tell me about the project, and we had a good time. He told me about it. I had him on again, and then I had him on a third time, and I had him on. It was him and Monster MD and Shinobi Sasquatch. I had a few guys on, and after the show, he was like, "Hey, you want to write the book for me?" And I was like, "Yeah." I thought because he was smashed, he was totally drunk. So I thought, "Oh man, what happened was this guy had a fight with his writer, and now he's drunk and he's mad at his writer, so he's just reaching out or whatever." So that was my initial thinking. I'm like, oh, okay. So, in a couple of days, he's going to come back and he's going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, man. Me and my writer were made up and we're going to be. So I was like, okay. So that's what I expected. So a couple of days later, I was like, hey, do you still want to do this? And he's like, oh, yeah, yeah. He sent me the first 15 pages. And he's like, here, script this. And I'm like, okay, well, what's going on here? He's like, just do your thing. Do whatever you want. And we'll see if we're on the same page. So I scripted. I did that whole bit, the unreliable narrator thing. And he was like, all right, yeah, that's cool. He's like, that's not where I was going with it. More really, but more or less we were going in the same direction. He's like, yeah, that's cool. All right, we're good. And so in September, we talked about it for a while and trying to decide because we wanted to make sure we had enough interest going in. We were funded in a day and a half. I mean, we did really
I remember you had it was really a great start. It was,
yeah,
but
and
again,
it's what
it was like
it's what happens. You get the big start, and then you get that lull in the middle, and that's just what happens. And sometimes stuff would come up, and we'd get spikes. And like I said, the cover is going to be one of those things. Once we get the cover, it's going to spike again, and that'll probably be near the end. So you always get that spike at the end anyway. Once you start telling people, hey, the book's going to be gone, you're going to get that spike, and you mix that with the cover, we'll get a big spike. So I'm not too worried about it. I think we'll definitely make that 15.
I think if you present again, and we're gonna differ on this, but you come in full hardcore ComicsGate with that EVS cover dropping, I think you are gonna be stunned.
I
think
fully
I think EVS is gonna do like a 3-hour extravaganza.
Hopefully he'll invite me on this time.
Shit. You're gonna be on the show. It's gonna push you into that 30K range, and
yeah.
I want that. I want that for Oddity. I think it's a great book. How did it happen? It seems like Sweens was he created this character, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like you're kind of the lead.
That's because he's
kind of the front man.
He's busy working.
I don't like doing this shit. Are you the front man?
He's busy working on the book. I mean, it's like 30 hours for him to draw a page. He's really into detail. He does all the pencils and he does the inks. He does all the colors.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting close. So I think he's thinking about hiring a flatter to kind of speed up the colors a little bit.
I did flats for a while.
Yeah,
that's not a fun job.
Yeah. So he's doing all the heavy lifting. So he hired me he hired me to write the book, and he also, because I could be the front man. It's easier for him to market because I'm already doing shows, and I had a decent presence, and most people, as far as I can tell, don't dislike me on Twitter too much. So I
want to give a shout out to Brian, man. This guy, Six Gun Gorilla.
Oh yeah. That was
a while ago, dude. I cannot wait for my 6-Gun Gorilla, Brian. Where's my book? Love that shit. But
that looked like a really cool book. The last book,
Oddity, Brian. What are you doing?
One more riff. Was, so what is the actual purpose of the Oddity? Why is he a hero? Well, I'll tell you the basics. Is he's a teenage dirtbag, and he's kind of like if Peter Parker is the science nerd of the high school, then Oddity was the guy that was under the bleachers smoking during all the football games. So what happens is he accidentally gets the frog powers, right? There's an accident at the factory. It's explained in the thing. There's an accident at the factory. He accidentally gets these frog powers. He can't stay at home because he can't change back. So he's a frog monster. So he goes in the swamp, and the spirit of the swamp, it's kind of like a magic swamp. There's a spirit there, and it says, look, I need you, while I'm healing the swamp from the factory accident and all the chemicals, I need you to be here to basically keep people out and keep all of these weird like creatures in. There's all kinds of urban legend type creatures that live there. So I need you to try to keep them in and keep all the people out. And he's like, man, I don't want to be a night watchman, but I mean, he can't go home. And so he's like, well, he has to live there. So he's like, all right. So he takes the job, royally screws it up, and releases monsters onto the community. And so basically, he has to learn to be more responsible and to not be such a dirtbag. And basically, if Peter Parker was here and had to go up here to be a hero, our guy's way down here and has to get up here to be the hero. So we got a lot more story to work with him. So it's gonna we want to make it fun. It's gonna be fun. There's gonna be some ripping heads off, and there's gonna be a lot of jokes. There's gonna be a lot of stuff. Keep your eye out in the background because there's gonna be a lot of kind of hidden stuff that'll make sense maybe in the next book or maybe the third book. We're gonna hide a lot of the plot points are gonna be kind of hidden, and you got to look, and you got to look to see what's gonna be in the book.
I did not have an opportunity to really drop this, but I'm kind of proud of it. The whole Greta Thunberg, how dare you? How dare you? And I had this little video clip. I was just sure there was going to be this point where I could drop this on you. It didn't happen. So I'm going to drop it right now.
Alrighty.
Because I want to show off the video editing.
How dare you?
That is awesome.
Greta as Venom. Come on.
That was cool. I like that.
And maybe I'm just not quick enough on the draw with this yet. I don't know how people, dude.
Next time I'll try to say something more scandalous.
But I think we actually got along a little too good. It didn't feel like a beef.
No, I'm not an angry guy. I'm not the kind of guy that's going to insult people. I don't cuss people out. I don't yell. There's no point to that for me. I think we had a minor disagreement.
You could have wailed on me a little bit.
All right.
It would have been good.
Why the hell did you call me a douchebag?
You could have done it.
I
got a little heated. I have regrets. But man,
I'm not perfect.
I'm in love with ComicsGate. I think it is a fan-powered phenomenon, the likes of which I don't know that anything quite like it has existed. And I think
People compare it to Image, but it's not.
I think that your book, what you're doing hasn't scratched the surface of what ComicsGate can do for you, and I don't want you to lose any of that market.
Neither do I.
I don't want you to lose any of it by any decision you make, because I know you're probably a little frustrated about where your numbers are at. And I don't blame you. I think you should be higher.
Well, I'm not.
Let's see what happens after the EVS drop.
Yeah, like I said, I'm totally expecting a boost from the EVS drop. I'm totally. Yeah. EVS is he's doing the cover, and he offered to do it, and that's a great story too. Like, we didn't even ask him. Somebody else asked him.
That's amazing, dude.
Well, Chris Evans. I don't know if you know who Chris Evans is. He pushes a lot of books. He's a great guy on Twitter, and he basically he tweeted out, because I didn't want to. I don't know, Sweens. We didn't want to, be the guys that were bugging him or whatever. But Chris Evans was like, no, man. So he was like, hey, Ethan, can they draw Cyberfrog on the cover of their book? And the whole idea initially was we wanted to have Sweens do it and just ask him permission if we could do it. And he was like, and Ethan got back to Sweens. He's like, hey, man, how about instead of that, I'll draw my character, you draw your character, and it'll be a GM cover. And he was like, hell yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And that was all. That's what he came back with.
It's basically a nuke in waiting, man.
Yeah.
It's a nuke in waiting.
Yeah.
It's going to happen because you know how I know it's going to happen? Because he actually talked about it on a stream just the other day. it's on his mind. It's weighing on him. He's gonna get that done.
Yeah.
It's
And,
gonna get done soon.
for his part,
He's
it's
just
actually relatively
he's
easy.
doing those Cyberfrog sketches. It's driving him mad. Driving him mad. How many of those has he had to do? Almost 1,000.
Oh yeah, he has 700 and something. Plus, he's now got
He
100
can't.
of the. He's got 100 of the other ones to do.
Yeah,
Yes,
dude.
Style Android.
The benefit to you is he's coming off all that repetition, and when he draws your cover, it's gonna be the first time he
Yeah.
gets to really flex.
If his hands
He's
still
gonna
work.
flex.
If his hands still work.
Yeah, if his hand still works. Oh man, dude, I think we had a great discussion. I think we covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think we probably still disagree.
People are gonna make up their minds about whether it's.
I just want, if I could say anything to address what your concern is.
Yeah,
we are CG whether we do the Kickstarter or not. We'll always be CG, and our whole goal is to bring more people over and to make more money, get more customers, and bring more people over. That's the plan. We'll always be CG. We're always going to be CG.
I'll let you counter this if you want, but I'm just saying there are actions you can take where the actual CG fan power, the fan group might decide you're not CG based on actions. That can happen, and it has happened, and it can happen.
The only
I'm just saying, like, you can say you're CG, but your actions might speak louder than words sometimes. And that's my only concern and my only point.
The only thing
are going to decide if you're CG or not. It's not ultimately up to you.
Well, the only thing I can control is me. I can't control how other people think.
Right.
Ultimately, one of the things you mentioned in your video was being part of CG and not being part of the mainstream is we have total freedom.
Yeah.
Right? So I should have total freedom to pursue other markets, right? Everybody should know that.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. All right, dude.
All right. Hey,
I've had a great time, man.
Yeah,
this has been really fun. Thank you for being on. I really appreciate you coming on my tiny channel. It means a lot.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, I want to thank you for pushing our book. I like having these conversations.
Sure.
I love, like, if you're a backer, and this isn't to you, this is to anybody that's watching. If you're a backer and you have any kind of concern or question, my DMs are always open. I love talking to backers. Everybody that backs our book, it's awesome to me. It's awesome that you would take that risk, that you're going to take that chance, and you're going to help us out, and that you would trust us enough to put out a good book for you. And that's our goal. That's our whole goal. Put out a quality book, and make sure that you like what we're getting.
Nice, man. All right, everybody. This is Rata and Glory. If you like the vid, please like and sub. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
All right. Take it easy, everyone.